Welcome, my name is Harry Jacobs and I am the North of 60 Gamer, and welcome. And today we are going to talk about Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria. In fact, we're going to show you the game itself. We're going to open the box, we're going to see the components, we're going to go through a setup, we're going to go a little bit of play, and then some final thoughts. All in about hopefully less than an hour. God, I hope so. You should hope so too. Anyway, it's for 1 to 5 players. It plays in about 30 to 75 minutes. The age is 14 plus, though I think it can be played probably by 12 plus. And the weight is pretty mild at 2.52 out of 10, according to Board Game Geek. The designer is Stan Kordonski, and it's published by Daily Magic Games. Now, if you've not heard of the Valeria series, there's, I think, 5 games out in that series. There's the Card Kingdoms of Valeria, Quests of Valeria, Villages of Valeria, Margraves of Valeria, and now Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria. And I think I just backed another expansion for Card Kingdoms of Valeria. And the Card Kingdoms of Valeria is based on Machikoro, which is a Japanese game in which you, of course, build your city, rolling dice, taking the actions of the card that match your dice, and getting the most victory points at the end of the game by building a good city. Shadows of the Card Games of Valeria is very much like that. The other games are very similar mechanic-wise. They all have different ways of playing, but mechanically wise, you're going to gather your 4 main resources, which are coin, magic, strength, and usually potions or some sort, or some other type of resource. You're going to play cards, you're going to kill monsters, you're going to build things, and try to be stronger. In Shadows of Kingdoms of Valeria, we're going to take a different take on it. You are going to be a warden of a faction, and you're going to raise armies of minions to storm the fortresses and castles of the elves and dwarves that have been oppressing you for years. So it's your time to get a little payback. So let's go take a look at that game. And can you be the most victorious warden in the country, or the kingdom, I should. Will you be the most victorious warden in the Valeria kingdom? Let's go find out how this game plays and get down to the table. So we've unboxed it. I have now organized it. So I'm just going to show you really quick what I did to organize this. Right now there is the rules on top. That is typical. This is the expansion. Now you can see I've opened it a little bit, but I'm not ready to try the expansion until I play the game through a couple times. So we'll be putting that to the side. Today we'll be looking, when we play, we're going to play with the main game. You can see the cards are separated by the types of cards, and they have been sleeved. So there's a number of different little decks. I'd like to find something a little better than this, but for now, this is fine. I don't mind cards being organized. You can see each of the color factions are put in these portion cups, and I've talked about these portion cups before. That these are the gems in the first player marker. You can see that right there. And then the faction colors. There are the different dice. Now, the reason why the dice are separated out from the nice little dice bag is because depending on the player count, you're going to have a certain amount of dice in the bag. Here are the these are the battle boards. So as you take war plans, you'll be able to add tokens to the battle board here in order to get the bonuses here. Like, if you had a battle, I said, you'd get 2 points, right? And then you would cover them up and we'll show how this all works, because there will be discs on here to cover up spots, so that you have to, as you win your battles, you can remove them and get more powerful moves here. So there's some, but for the most part, the monsters are the same. There's no real asymmetrical factions other than those battle boards that I showed you. So regardless of whether you're playing the werewolves or dragons or whatever faction you're playing, that is the faction. Now, that is how I stored it. And you can see it goes back in the box fairly quickly. I put this box here just because it takes up some room. And it probably, it'll lay flat once I separate out those. But that's pretty much how it goes. And then now we're going to do a setup on it. And we'll show you what that setup is in a moment. And we'll go from there. There we go. We'll just do that. And that will give us the stability for this one here. And everything fits nicely in the box. In the box. Anyway, that's it. That's how I stored it. You can store it any way you want. You can use geek boxes. I don't think there's a storage solution out there like folded space or broken token, because quite frankly, I think for a 40 or 50 buck game, you're not going to spend $120 to try to organize it when you can do this for 20 cents. you know, and that literally for free. So that's it for this, and we're going to set this game up and get ready to play. We're probably going to simulate a 3-player game. Possibly 2, depends on how much space I have on my table. So just to show you the board, this is the board that we'll be playing with. These are the war plans, and each one of these war plans will go on these spaces here, and they will range from 1 to 5 gold, depending on where you pick this up. This is the space that corresponds. That means you can play gold to get a war plan, but the dice here have discounts, so depending on the value of the dice, which I'll show you later, you can get a discount. So they may be even free. Up here you have the gems. So we're going to be moving our warden from place to place, collecting gems, magic, helper cards or minions, and then being able to just change a dice roll into gold. So, if we want a 3, we'll pick a 3 and get 3 gold. And we'll show you that again. So the idea of the game is we're going to be moving our warning from spot to spot through the game and taking the action. Much like the Valeria games, we're going to build our influence, we're going to build our magic, our coin, our strength, and then we're going to take these war plans that are going to go here. Here we have the instant minions, I should say. You can see that is represented by a lightning bolt. And on this one would say, if I bought this for 1 gold, I would get 4 magic. Now, magic allows you to manipulate the dice in a way that says I can take the pips up or down 1 per magic. So the more magic I have, the more I can adjust the dice. Now, a gem allows you to use it as a wild card or turn the dice to a different face. So if you know dice add up to 7. So if you have a 1 and you have a gem, you can turn it to a 6, which gives you more power. Again, more power equals more victory points. However, you can never have more power than your influence, which is the green right here on our board. So you're going to want to increase your influence. You're going to eventually want to take that away so that you can go all the way up to 20. Anytime you go past 20, of course, you get +2. So there you go. That is the basis of this game. We're going to start by putting... I don't want to spill it. 6 dice in our bag. 6 dice of each color in our bag. Then we're going to draw 4 dice on each of these spots, and that is the starting. Once we're down to 2 dice after we draft dice, because this is a dice drafting game, basically, we're going to then take all the dice back and put 2 more on each, and we reduce the number of dice down. But we only start with 4 on each spot at the beginning. After that, it's 2. And that is pretty much the rundown of the game. So we're going to finish setting up this board. We're going to pull the dice and set it up, and we're going to get started. So we are now ready to play through. Our orc is going to go first, followed by our skeleton leader. I like to call him the skeleton lord. And the first thing we have to do is kind of flesh out what war plan we're going to look at. There's some simple war plans here. And, for 1 gold, that's not too bad. He could pick that up for free, depending on what he wants to get here. There's a couple symbols here you can go after, even up here. So I think he's really interested in the 5 symbol here. Now the 5 symbol, as you can see, only gives him a 1 discount, but because that's a 1, that's okay. So he's going to put that into his reserve pile, just like that. We are going to move down all the different war plans and then pull our next war plan, which is a siege with 3 wings. Now, those are bats, really. So you're going to need 3 bat units, which, of course, are dice. There are 3 bat units here, but, of course, it's a $5, a 5 gold card. So very, very expensive. Now, because he reserved it, he can spend the gold to put up his influence, and that is the end of his turn. You can see how quick and simple these turns can be. Oop, we'll turn around the cart. So we're going to come over here. Again, there's a couple of green cards he's interested in. Now, up here, one of the cards is a siege. So that is a gold card, and you can get points for being the first one to achieve that, or the second one to achieve that. The third space is really for the 5th and 6th player. There's for melee. And this particular one, you have to get an L shape on the board. And that is the combat board that we're talking about. So we're looking at the siege power. There's a siege power right here for red. And he kind of likes that one. He's thinking that he might reserve it. He can also do that one for 3. So what he says is, I kind of like the idea of a siege. There's a couple sieges on here. So he's going to go after the siege. He's going to take a red. He's going to come over here, take the red 4. And of course, the magic formula is 4 plus 6 minus 6 is 2. So he's going to get a 2 discount for a 1 card, for a 1 gold card. He will place that in his reserve, doing basically the same thing, and ups his influence. And everything else moves down. Now, you can always fight something else as well. So these come in 3 or 4 or even 5 dice. So we're going to have to open up a dice fairly soon if we want something bigger. And we are both here, actually. I never did move my my orc leader. So my orc leader is here because he took that reserve card. The reserve card is a knoll, which is a brown dice. He's really looking, if he could get 11, so if he could find a 6 in a knoll, which he's not going to get. So he's going to look for something a little bit different. Because he has 3 dice, he's going to look a little bit ahead, and there's some 3 wings. So he says, you know, I don't mind getting another wing up here. I'm going to go up here and grab a gem. Now, the gem is going to allow him to turn this card over to a 5 if he can get a 6 in a red, which is sitting right over here. Or sorry, 6 is in the knoll. Or he can turn this one over, sorry, when he comes back again. Oh my gosh, so many decisions to make. But anyway, that's what he's going to do. That was his turn. He gets to pick up a gem. He could go to 6. It depends on really. So he is going to pick up the red here. He's going to go up here, grab 2 magic really quick. Grab the 6. And he is now good to go. And then we're going to come over here, and he needs a brown dice. So he's going to come down here to get a knoll, which is the brown dice, of course. And because this is 1 minus 5, he's going to pick up 5 gold. Remember the rule of 6. So he's going to pick up 5 gold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is it for his turn. He needs a wing. So he's basically going to do the same thing. So where is he? Should be right there. So he's going to look for a 5. Does he have a red wing 5? He does not have a red 5 wing. He can also fight something else as 2 if he likes. But I think he's going to stick to his plan. So I think he's going to come over here perhaps. Now, he likes the idea of gold as well. He's going to pick this 4. Now, it's only 2 gold, but that's okay. If you run out of gold, you can get screwed pretty quickly. I did some practice games. You get screwed really, really quickly if you run out of resources. Next up, we are going to we're going to grab a war plan. We actually have a war plan here. So he's going to move, the red orc is going to move back to his card. He's going to fight this war plan, or he's going to pick up this war plan. So this will be his first war plan. Now he's going to use this gem to turn this 1 to a 6. And then he's going to use the 6 and the 5 for 11. If we come down to our board, that is 6 full points for a red player. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now he can take a token and put that on his battle board. Now he had a melee. He could get 2 extra points for melee. So I think that's a pretty safe bet. He figures that he might want to grab a extra 2 points right there. 1, 2, and that is his turn. This now will be in his tableau. The first person to 7 is going to end the game. We put our dice back in the dice holder. Basically, we're going to mirror this move. He's coming back over to here. He only has a 10, which is only going to give him 3 points. He'll put that over there. So he only gets 3. 1, 2, 3. And then he is going to, again, take a battle board on his. And he likes to think that he is going to clear a dice as well. And he's going to take the 2 points for the siege. 1, 2. And that is as easy as these turns get. We come back over here. We start from the beginning again. We have a bat, which looks like we have a good start to here. He's got magic. So I think he's going to go right to here. Take that 6. And take 2 magic. Now magic you can use to manipulate dice up and down. Gems, as you saw, I can either flip a dice from the 1 side to the 6 side, or the 4 side to the 3 side, or the 2 side to the 5 side. Dice always add up to 7. Or you can use a dice as wild. Now he has a red dice, so he's going to go after we might like to go after a green dice or a death dice. So I think he's going to come over to here. And he is going to pull the 5, which gives him a 1 discount. And he's going to come over to here, and now he can buy a card. Now, he loves the idea of grabbing a war card for free. So he's just going to take this first card, take this right here. And he has a death dice and a red dice. So he's well on his way to perhaps this one. Does it 2 brown? Nope. He kind of likes this one right here, because there is a catapult, and he already has a catapult. So he likes that idea. He's going to take the catapult into his reserve. He will spend the gold to put this up, and we will move these down, and that is his turn. So the card he took was a sentry, and that is a symbol to take 1 war plan for free, which he did right there. And then we replace these right away. Now his next card will be this value, which is a 1, 3, or 6 plus 1. And we only have a maximum of 3 cards. But he did get a war plan for free. Our orc needs to get, he could get a death die here and try to take care of that one really, really fast. But there's nothing up here for melee. There is for melee. He's got another melee. He kind of likes that idea. So he's going to grab really quick. He's going to come over here. He's going to grab this 5 dice. It is only 1 gold. Remember, rule of 6. The 5 is 6 minus the face is 1. That is your discount or the number of gold. So he only gets 1 gold out of that. But he does have enough dice now to actually grab another melee. We are going to come over to here. He's going to come over to he needs a red dice, and he needs got a red dice and a bat dice. There is a bat dice here. So he's going to come over to here. And he's going to grab this 4. And he's going to grab the gem. Gems are always useful. You can see how quickly these turns go. He comes over to his board. He has an 11 here. Now he has to pay the 1 gold, but he can fight this now. So this is a melee action using a skeleton and a goblin. There it is. Skeleton, goblins, and it's a melee. He has 11, which is the farthest he can go actually at this point, which gives him another full 6 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which allows him to upgrade his board once again. And I think this time he is going to, remove the limit. Now it's a pity he used the melee here for the extra. But he could come, no, 1 for skull. Okay, so he's going to come up here. He's going to get 1 extra point for using the skull. And that is the end of his turn. These dice go back into the deck. Our buddy here needs a blue to trigger this. He says it's over here. He comes over to here. He is going to recruit 3, which is fine. Now he has a 3, but he can come along here and say, I get a -2 on war bands. Or every time he buys one of these cards, it's -2. I think he likes the idea of war bands. So this is his second card in the tableau. That's 3 plus 1 gold, with 4 minus the discount of 3. So that really leaves him just 1. And that is the end of his turn. We are back over to our orc. And we're just going to move these down. Now he's really looking for a melee over here. There is no melee at this point. He has a bat. He could be looking for a red and a green. So he doesn't mind grabbing. He might grab a gem, or he could come down here and recruit. He's got some money. So let's turn over our card here. So every time he gets a magic, he's going to get a +1, and that is the Dark Conjurer. You can also look for the end game at this point, but there's nothing there that exciting at this point that he's looking at. And he's got magic. He can't go there because the rule says that if we are there, you have to have dice to go to a spot. So I'm thinking he's got to stay on track. We have a Batwing. He needs a green. So he's going to come over here to take the 2. The 2 has a 4. He's going to come down there and grab this. Just grab this one into his melee, which is a ranged fight using a bat, a orc, and a goblin. And we have a bat and a goblin. Now he can play the 1 to push up his influence, which is good. We switch over to our skeleton lord, and you can hear my dogs in the background going crazy. If you can, if not, good. We're going to come over here. We know that we have our 2 death, or our 2 skeletons, our bat, and our orc. Now the most we can have is a 12, and we have 5, 4, 3, 4, so 5 plus 4 is 9, 13, 15, 16. We really can't use 16. The most we can use is 12 at this point, which is a full 6 points. And then he too can remove this if he likes. And he's used 2 death die. Does he have a death die here? That he 1 for bats? No, there it is. 1 for every death die. So he can pick up 2 more points. And all these dice go into the bag. I can hear my dogs growling in the background. They are playing in the living room. Now the rule is with influence, your power, your magic, and your gold can never go above the influence. So that's just to let you know how that works. Our red player is going to come up here. He is going to recruit the 2, take a gem for this turn, because he's looking at finishing this card. He's going to come off. That is our Skeleton Lord. And what is he looking at? There's no Batwings. There's some Wyverns. And we've got a bunch of stuff happening. You could take a green and look for that, because we're going to be putting out dice fairly soon. You can always pay a gold to rid the top one of the cards and move the cards down, but I don't think he's unhappy with what is there at the moment. So he's going to come along, and there's a couple of Batwings, and there's a Batwing nowhere. We've got a green and a couple of Batwings, and Batwings. Lots and lots of Batwings. But I think he likes the idea of death right now. He's going to take this 6, place it on his board, and take 2 magic. Okay, we're coming down. We actually want to solve this, which is a bat, an orc, and a goblin. We have a bat, an orc, and a goblin. We are going to use our gem to turn over one of those cards to a 5. And these gives him a 9, which is 3. 1, 2, 3, he catches up. This is his 3rd card. So we're going to put these dice down here just before we get rid of them. He is going to take another dice off here. This is a red. This allows him to take a red dice as a wild. And remember, we're looking for an L shape too as well. So let's just see what we got. We don't have that. We have 1 red. So we're going to do this, actually. This makes sense. If he puts this here, he gets 1 point for each barbarian dice. And then he gets 3 gold as a bonus for the link. 1, 2, 3. And 2 influence for the link, which is right here. Excellent, he says. Our Lord here is going to come and drop up over here. He's going to take this 1. Which gives him a 5 discount. And he's pretty much looking at this one right at the moment. So 5 minus 2 is minus 3, or 2 minus... It doesn't cost him anything. He can pay a gold, knock his influence up, and then we drop our cards down, because you can always reserve up to 3 cards if we uncover that. And another siege card comes up, and he is looking for sieges. Even though he has an arrow here, he's looking for another melee. So if we can get a siege, which is here or here, that is a good thing. We're going to come back here. He's going to take this. He gets a 5 discount. So he likes the idea of 2 times the end game. That's an extra 2 points at the end. It cost him 6, but he has a 5. 6, 7, 8. He has a 5. It would cost him 3, but boy, that's pretty bad when that's like that. He really likes the idea of maybe having a fair bit of money. So he's going to take this top card, which costs him 1. Plus 2 is 3, but he gets a 5 discount, which leaves him minus 2, basically, and allows him to take 6 gold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is our red's turn. There are green all over the place. He does not have a gem, but he could get one very easily. So he's going to come over, and he too is going to come over to our shrine, which allows him to take this 3, which is our, of course, a goblin dice. He likes this guy only because, and this is a warlock. He gets 1 magic and 1 gem, and it only costs him 1 gold. But because he used the 3, which is a 3 discount, it doesn't really cost him anything. And we get to take a gem and a magic. Hopefully I didn't take the magic already. So that is our warlock. Now we are at the point at the beginning of the turn. You can see there's only 2 dice here. All the dice come back off at this point. And we will replay this. So we have a little less choices. So our red, he needs a gray dice. There's only 1 gray dice. So he's going to pop up over here. He can't really use the gem, because he can't store another gem. So it doesn't really matter, actually. He's got a gem, so he can go and take any dice, actually. And it's our gray guy's turn anyway. And he was there, sorry. So our gray, because he has a gem, which means it could be used as a wild card, could go anywhere conceivably. He has a gem. And he thinks might take a Batwing. There's not a lot of Batwings here. He could come up here, but he doesn't really need that. There's only 1 red on here, and so he can't stay. So he could come over here, but he doesn't want to really reserve a battle plan. But that's okay. I think he's going to come. He can use his magic. He's going to come up here. He is going to grab a 3. And he will grab 2 magic. 1, 2. We're going to come over to here. We have green and 2 Batwings. It looks like he might come over here. So he's going to come. Our orc is coming over to here. He is going to grab a 2. And 2 has a 4 discount. So 2 plus is 4. Basically, he gets that for free. It's another melee. If I could get it up. And he's going to reserve it. He's going to pay a coin to bump his influence up to 15 now. So that he can do a really good bang-up job of trying to get this done. We come back to our Skeleton Lord. Skeleton Lord is going to come back to his board. He is going to use this green the gem to make one of these gnolls a skeleton. So he has now fulfilled his 2 gnolls, 2 skeleton. And he has 6, 7, 8 is 11. 11 gives us 6 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now he has his 3rd battle plan. And now he can remove. He's collecting cards, so I think he's going to move that. And he's going to go here for 2 more points. And if you look here in the link, it is a black with a cube on it. That means I can take any 1 dice from anywhere. So he's going to start looking and planning for the next bit that he has to do here. There's not a lot here. He could take the 6, but there's no Wolverines on here, so that's really not good. He's got a green that matches a green, green, and red. But he gets 2 magic for that, but it's not really useful. And 2 skulls, and that's not particularly useful either. But he'll take this, I think. I think he'll take this skull right now. Okay, that is the end of his turn. He is going to come up over here. It is our orc leader. Our orc leader is looking for another red. Now, he could have screwed everybody up in taking another red, but pretty slim pickings. He comes over to here, takes the red. He does get a 5 discount if he wants to buy a card, which of course is always a smart move. And he likes and he's got 6, so it's going to cost him 7 to go here. With a 5, it's 2 gold. He's going to take an endgame card. His minion is a Skull Basher. He's going to have to play the 2 gold. But that is the end of his turn, and he's in a good position now to use this card because he has a gem. You always can look to get 1 more dice to get a better value dice. And this is what our skeleton is going to do. He's going to come off here, grab a 1 and a gem. We're back to our orc. He's going to come back to his board, use his gem to manipulate the red to a bat. But that really just gives him 6. 6 is only 1 point, so he doesn't really do well, which is kind of unfortunate because he is a little bit behind at the moment. But he does get a melee card, his 3rd melee card, which is good, which allows him to pick up another card. And where does he want to go? He's got plus 15 strength he doesn't have. He picked up an arrow. He did use a bat wing, so he's going to come over here and take the extra 1. So he's got only 2 points out of this, but he does get to remove something from his board, which he did. Which he did. And this gives him plus 1 strength all the time. So the only differences between the boards, as you can see, is here, when you're black, you get a black wild card as opposed to a red dice, which would be a wild card, or a black dice. We are back to our favorite orc. There's a 1 there. Gives him a 5 discount. So he's going to come over here. He's going to grab this 1. He has a 5 discount here. And he likes the idea of the siege, so he's going to grab this into his reserve pile. He's going to use 1 gold to push up his influence. And we're going to move these down. And then we are back to our friend the orc. There are 2 dice on the board. That means we are going to refill the board again. I guess we should really roll them. Doesn't really matter if I pull them out and just put them down. There we are. Our red guy is off and orc is ready to go. Red seems to be the popular color. And a bat wing. I think red's going to go up here because what's going to happen is we have 3 melee. There is the 3 melee card. So what's going to happen is we're going to go up here. We're going to grab this 6. And what we're going to do is take a token off our board. Yeah, let's take it off here. And we're going to put it here. And that is what red is going to do. I just wanted to show you how that works. Our skeleton lord has 3 wings, but he doesn't have really a good one. What he'd like to do is do the same thing. So he's going to come over here. He's going to take this red 6. And he is going to do, except he has, oh, he doesn't, he only has 2. Oh, he's got a, oops, no, that's not what he's going to do. Actually, what he's going to do is come back to his board. He is going to manipulate one of these dice to make it a bat wing, which is 5. So it'll be 5, 6, 7. Still just 1 point. But the advantage, of course, is that he can now take off another unit to build this. And he's going to go for the last dice. And he can move this onto his battle board. No, he used 2 of the Wolverines, so he's going to go here, and we're going to go 1, 2. He's still ahead. Oh, here we are. So he's still ahead. And then we've come back over here. So I have a red. I'm going to grab a Batwing. So he's coming down here to grab this last Batwing, which is 6. He gets no gold for that because there is no discount. It's unfortunate, but that is the way it goes. But he has his plan. At this point in time, our Skeleton Lord comes back over here to grab this 6 in order to put his we'll remove this last gem right here, and he's going to put that on his siege. And that is basically how the game goes. And it goes on until there's 7, and we are sitting at 4-4. So this game is going to be pretty much balanced. It's really going to come down to the power that you can churn up through the game. But that is as far as we need to go. The end game condition is basically you're going to add up your end game cards. So if we looked at this card right now, which is the Skull Basher, he would get 1 point for every green above 10, which he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'd add 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He does not have. Now he should have a. It didn't really matter. It didn't cost him anything the last time. He does not have any at this point in the round scoring. So basically the black comes in as a winner at this point. Now there would be 3 more war plans that would get played through this, but that is the basic game. Basically you're going to go to a shrine, take an action. When you've done taking as many actions, you can fulfill a war plan, whether you reserved it or bought it right off the lot for the gold. The advantage of reserving, of course, it lets you use the reserved markers here, or the reserved action, I should say. We can recruit more cards, but basically we would fill our battle boards. He's 1 away from that L shape as well. Oh, and I forgot. So both of them would have, the melee would have 7, and I think the 7. So we'd have another 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because we have to have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this would be basically the end scoring. I forgot that we actually have to score these. So we are going to score our tracker, any end game conditions with the hourglass, and any gold cards that we have managed to use. But that is the game in a nutshell. Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria. This is a fun series. So let's, before we go into that, maybe I'm going to clean up a little bit, and we're going to jump up for some final thoughts. We love final thoughts because I like thinking. Thinking is good. That's what my wife tells me anyway. So despite all the mistakes, I managed to get through most of the game unscathed. I don't think the mistakes made a big difference. I mainly I counted scores wrong. I moved the wrong wardens. But that happens, and they are marked in the game. So what did I think of this game overall? First of all, the rules are pretty well laid out. A little bit messier than some of the other Valeria games, but since I'm familiar with the Valeria games, it really doesn't offer that much of a challenge in terms of reading the rules and getting through it. I think the rules could have been a little tighter in terms of the ease of play, because it really was easy. You take your warden, you put him down, you take an action. When you have enough actions, you take a war plan, take cards, get gold. Life is good until you get 7 war plans, and of course then you count up scores, and that is the end of the game. So in terms of ease of play, replayability, there's good replayability here. No game is going to be 2 games because different war games are going to come out, different dice values are going to come out. So it's a very replayable game, a very gateway, fillerish game. I wouldn't call this a heavy game, but a good introduction to gaming, and a couple of mechanics that are relevant in heavier games, of course. The idea of rondel and drafting dice. If you've seen Red Cathedral, that certainly uses that. So there's some mechanics here that mirror what goes on in Red Cathedral a little bit. You've got player boards. You're keeping track of resources. So there are concepts here in this later game that would lead you to heavier, maybe medium games, maybe not fully heavyweight games. So it's a good jump into the hobby if you're looking for a good start into the hobby, or just a filler game. Well, we're setting up Feudum. Hey, let's go over here and play a quick game of this. So that could be fun. There is a solo version, always good. Though it's really just beat your own score. The first player marker just ticks along the rondel until it hits the war plans, takes a war plan. It keeps doing that. And when it gets 7 war plans, or you get 7 war plans, you count up the scores. He has scoring for the war plans. So whoever wins is the winner. I have not tried the solo game. I may try that later. Maybe I will put it under the video. But right now, I believe I have something else that I want to do. So overall, let's talk about the overall value of the game. Everything is good. The quality of everything is good in the box. It wasn't an expensive game, and I think you can pick it up at 401 Games, fairly inexpensive if you're buying games here in Canada. It doesn't disappoint in terms of what it is, and therefore it's a good buy. Value-wise, you might get what you pay for it if you decide to resell it, but I think in terms of me with a lot of friends who are not into board games, this would be a good board game to have, or just a quick game that I can take to the club and say, I can teach you this real quick and play for an hour. But that is all I've got. So I like to say thank you very much for being here today and listening to my ramblings about this game. If you like what you see, please hit the like, subscribe, because I'd love to have you part of the community. Hit the bell for notifications. I am here for you, and hopefully you can be here for me. If you have any comments, put them below. Say hi. Catch me on Everything Board Games, Board Game Revolution, Solo Board Gamers, and say hi. So that's it for now. Thanks, everybody.